here to talk about Steph. Sorry if you hear our dog whining. She wants to go outside really bad. But she was just outside. She does not need to go outside. We're not abusive to our dog. She just goes in and out, in and out, in and out.
So high maintenance.
She is high energy. Love her to death, but ignore her. I have a little list of things. We're coming up on a year away from YouTube. We've been back, kind of. But just want to talk about what we've been up to, why we were gone for so long. And obviously this isn't something we're wanting to pursue. Don't show your knee, it's scandalous. This is obviously something that we're not like pursuing full time. We don't want to be YouTubers. You know, whatever God has planned for our channels, whatever God has planned. But for the most part, it's for us and like our family or our friends, especially with COVID, not being able to see everybody and being able to say like, hey, go watch our video, see what we've been up to. Or like I know my cousin and his wife were watching my Sims video with their daughter and she loved it. And so I just think that that's fun. It's just more fun for us to know that family's watching and friends are watching. And even the other day, Nathan was like, you know what we should do? We should go watch our old vlogs. And as much as it's like kind of cringy it's like home videos. Growing up, my mom and I always watched home videos. Like if I was ever homesick, we'd just sit on the couch and we'd watch home videos. It was just fun to reminisce and look back. And the other day, Nathan was like, we should watch the Leavenworth vlog. And I was like, oh, you're right, we should. It's been a long time. And plus, we don't have Ellie anymore, our lab. And so it's kind of fun to look back and see videos of when we had her. I think Daisy was fresh into the family, too, when we were last recording. We weren't really doing vlogs at the time, so I don't think we have any vlogs yet with Daisy. But, well, now we have one when she bit my hand off.
Oh,
I'm going to... What?
To speak.
Oh, sure.
I just felt like as much as like, I don't know, everybody can say like, oh, this is just for us. Like it literally is. Because I really have been thinking about like those vlogs and everything and just been thinking about all that stuff. And it's just so much fun to go back and look on those things. And there's like things in conversation. Like I'm even thinking of one specific thing that I think we caught on camera. Like something that we would tell like a story of. And like how did that go? You know, and we could literally go back and like listen to like if it was a joke, if it was a joke that we told, or if it was an event that happened. Or, for example, on that Leavenworth trip, I had bought a bunch of tile for my parents. And it like fell over in the back of my truck, and we thought that it was totally secure. Just things that came out of that were just so funny that I really want to go back on because there's things that I don't really remember.
And I think that was the first year we went together, right?
Maybe, yeah, I think so. I think it was maybe the first year we went together. Yeah, we took my little sister with us and my best friend, Cody. Right now, I am sick. We are technically sick. I don't know if it's, like, I don't know.
We're pretty positive it's COVID.
I got tested, I was negative. But everybody around me they got tested, and a lot of them got, when we were in contact with them all this last week, same symptoms and everything, they all... one, it took a couple tests to come up positive, but the other one came up positive right away. And so I just think that it just wasn't a good test, and I'm pretty sure. I'm getting over it, though. I'm doing good. We're doing great.
Yeah, we never got super sick, which we could, you know, it could be just the variant isn't as strong as the other ones, which is what they're saying. It could also be our vaccine, you know, kind of kicking it in the butt. Maybe it's not as... It's dramatic this time because of the vaccine, because we've had COVID before, even though it's a different variant of it. You know, so there was one day where Nathan was pretty down for the count, and I'm more of a baby than he is, so I would say I was probably down for 2 or 3 days that I was just really feeling crappy. But it hasn't been too bad. I mean, honestly, I got food poisoning like a month ago, and that was way worse. Way worse.
We had COVID the first go around before the vaccine started getting released. Like we got it like right out of the gate, like just like got sick, like right off the bat. It was pretty bad, but at the same time we were fine. Like we knew we were going to be okay. We felt good for the most part. We weren't like the people who don't experience any symptoms. We got sick, but it was kind of just like an intense cold.
And Nathan doesn't get sick. Like if Nathan calls in sick to work, or if he's not feeling well, he's really not feeling well. Like he's not a baby. He'll work through anything. In fact, he almost went to work. And it was only because of knowing that COVID was a thing. I was like, you're getting tested. You need to be careful. And he's like, well, maybe I'll go to work until I get my results. And I'm like, no, because what if you're positive?
I mean, I've had other times where I've been sick and I felt like crap. I didn't really want to go to work, but I could still work. And there was probably a couple days there, like 3 solid days, where I was like, I wouldn't have been able to go. But then after that, it would have sucked, but I could have went kind of thing. Like, you know, you just hydrate yourself, you drink some tea, you take a cough drop, you just go. You know, you just kind of dedicate to going.
But obviously he didn't.
Obviously I didn't because it was COVID, so I quarantined for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and at the time it was the long quarantine.
Yeah,
they told you to quarantine for a minimum of like 14 days.
Yep, exactly.
And then after the 14 days, maybe you go out.
Yeah, if you have to have zero symptoms for like 72 hours at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember because it was my last couple weeks at work.
Yeah.
At US Bank. And so I remember having to call in being like, Nathan's got COVID, so I'm quarantined now. I'm going to have to get tested, which I ended up negative, but I knew that I had it. I know that it was a false negative.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because I was way too sick for it to not be COVID, and too similar in symptoms and stuff for it to not be COVID.
Same house.
So I just quarantined with him.
Yeah.
And then I think I only went back to, and then I just still wasn't feeling well. Like it was more the sake that I have asthma, I can't breathe already just because I'm sick, and then on top of that having to wear a mask all day. I called in sick one day. I think I went home early the next day, and then I had my last day of work, and that was it. Then I just wasn't working there anymore because I had left. So that was a crazy time.
I know that we've released some content within COVID, but you know, it's just like looking back on COVID. Like, I mean, I don't like to talk politics at all, especially not like for all of our friends and I think all of our friends and families, people who watch this, you know, depending on I don't know, it's out on YouTube. Anybody can watch it. There's so many varying opinions, you know, and I've always felt like I was in the middle on a lot of things. Not like I don't stand for certain things, obviously. We definitely have our values, you know, stuff we believe in. We have our opinions and stuff like that on certain things. We were definitely skeptical of, we were wanting the vaccine. We weren't conspiracy theorists or anything like that or believe in anything. We were hoping that everything would be fine, but it was new. All sort of stuff. So I was a little cautious, more so than Melanie. I think
I wanted to get it right away.
She was ready to get it.
I was the person that was like skeptical about like which vaccine.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was pretty firm, which I ended up not even getting the vaccine that I wanted. But I was pretty firm, like I will believe what I've heard about this other vaccine, and I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be vaccinated right off the bat. I knew for a fact that I wanted to be vaccinated. And that's just my personal opinion. We have nothing against the person who says everyone should be vaccinated, and we have nothing against the person that says I'm not going to get vaccinated, you know?
Yeah.
Like, everybody is entitled to that choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just the choice that we ended up making.
And I would encourage you, wherever you stand on it, to try to see both sides. I mean, like, you know,
at least be understanding of people's
Be understanding, because I would say that, I mean, I know that it's rough, because there's studies on both sides, there's things on both sides, whether to get it or to not get it. You know, if you're not getting it, you know, are you contributing to the problem? Are you not? You know, I mean, there's so many variables within COVID. I don't think we can really like hardcore attack anybody, and I don't think we should, because I think we're a country that needs to be more united now than ever. And I know it's hard to put things aside, but I think we need to. It's easy to say, oh, they're ignorant because they're not doing this. Well, you know, you have no idea what kind of news that they're receiving, or what kind of experiences they've had that have led them that way. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of variables that we have to be just considerate of, and sometimes we just kind of have to be like, okay, whatever. I'd rather connect with people on a personal level, not talk about politics, not talk about this. Some people in our area, you know, are not going to get the vaccine, but at the same time, they're very careful. When they're feeling any sickness or whatever, they are very careful, and they're very smart about it. I'm glad, and I'm glad that those people are respectful. People who are stubborn and believe what they believe and stand firm, sometimes that can be most of the time that can be a really good quality as Americans. There's a lot of things, you know, in our past where people had to stand firm for what they believed in, and other people had different opinions. They had different views on the opposite side of that, but those people still stood firm in what they believed. And so for the stubborn people, we have to be somewhat thankful for stubborn people, whether we agree with them or not, because that's part of what America is. You have to be like, you can stand firm in what you believe and still be respectful. There's a lot of people out there that unfortunately have ruined it for the few. But yeah, we've had super good connections with people in our area that have varying views. You know, probably a couple here and there within our community that are really like stubborn and just disrespectful about it, which is unfortunate to see. But I know everybody's dealing with that everywhere, and so I think that there's so many variables within it that I think it's better to stand for what you believe but be as respectful to the point to where it's almost like maybe even if you don't think they deserve it. I think we always have this idea of respect needs to be earned. I think that if you give honor and respect as your first foot stepping out, I think you'd be surprised what you get met with in return.
Yeah. Just to leave you with encouragement, I guess, with this conversation, I had someone at the very beginning tell me we were standing firm in something that we were believing to be true, and which we still believe to be true. But we were standing firm on something. Somebody else was the complete opposite end of it, and unfortunately met us with disrespect.
Yeah.
But basically said, like, well, then God is telling you and I different things, and God doesn't do that. And it's like, well, that isn't the point. God doesn't care if you wear a mask.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if you get vaccinated or if you don't. That's the reality. He does not care. What he cares about is that we still love each other.
Yeah.
And, I mean, God did create things to heal you. You know, he created medicine. Sure, there are things that the devil has twisted to be something else. You know, I like the saying, God creates, the devil twists.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you decide not to get vaccinated, that's fine. But don't use the, well, God told me not to card.
Yeah.
Don't use the, well, that's unbiblical card. On either side of it, though.
Yeah.
Either side.
Yeah.
Just don't go there. It's not worth it to sacrifice relationship, because now my view on that person, I have a hard time.
Yeah.
Because they were so disrespectful, and it was supposed to be somebody that was super respectful. People make mistakes. Like I am working on forgiving that person, and I think I mostly have. It's more just the fact that for people in general, it's like people are just really rude.
Yeah.
And it's really pointless.
Yeah.
Now more than ever, the world is broken.
Yeah.
People are dying from this illness, whether you believe in it or not, whether you believe the vaccine works or not. The reality is it doesn't matter what takes you out. It doesn't matter what you believe. It just matters that lives are being saved and that we are loving and respectful to people.
Yeah.
And if, you know, there's just a lot of separation and it's absolutely pointless. I mean, we don't have this discussion with people anymore. We don't really bring it up. And if they've brought it up, we'll say what we believe, and then we won't go further than that. We'll change the subject if it gets too far, because it's pointless. It's pointless to talk about this kind of stuff. If you're firm in what you believe, that's fine. Yeah. It's okay to have different opinions. Just don't bring it up.
Yeah.
If it's going to get you in this big heated discussion and argument, it's literally not worth it.
Yeah.
What if you get in this big argument about something that's honestly really stupid, and then you leave and somebody dies?
Yeah.
And that's the last conversation you had? Yeah, pray whether or not you should get vaccinated. Yeah, pray whether or not you should blah, 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 blah. But after that, it really should just be between you and God. Pray for guidance. Focus on the mission. It's touchy. It's been almost 3 years, and it's still a very touchy subject.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Just have your opinion and then move on.
I'd say that your attitude towards, like, I think God cares more about your attitude.
Yeah.
And God cares more about your heart than this, because I truly do believe in healing. I think God's going to deal more with the attitude towards it, towards the whole situation, rather than actually just whether you should do something or shouldn't do something. That's more what God's about. Right now, I believe we're dealing with the Omicron or Cron.
Omicron?
The unicorn.
The unicorn variant?
We are confident that, like, I mean, we had COVID, so I know there's antibodies that come from that. You know, we don't know the science of it necessarily. We like to think that it helped us, because after that
we've gone 2 years and we didn't get COVID again.
Yeah, so. We didn't get COVID again.
And we've been surrounded by it. Like, it's not like it's just on our area.
We've been surrounded by it. A lot of stuff, because our community, there's a lot of people that did not get vaccinated in our community, and the people that did just recently did. We were surrounded by it. We did not get the Delta. It did not affect us, which is great.
If we did, it was like mild symptoms. Like, we wouldn't have even known. Or like asymptomatic type stuff. We wouldn't.
We would have no idea, but we got surrounded by very close people around us. And
we had like 7 people around us.
And a couple of them are vaccinated.
Yeah.
I will say that this has mutated twice. Especially the fact that it's not that bad right now. I'd have to give it a little bit of grace and really think that, like, you know, I mean, I would say that the vaccine definitely could have still helped us.
And we also haven't gotten our boosters yet. So who knows? That might have helped. We may not have gotten it if we did keep up on our booster, or maybe we still would have gotten it, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows?
For those people that are either on the fence or whatever, this probably didn't help any.
Just do, and we're not here to try and influence you either.
Yeah.
Like, we're just honestly just stating our opinion and our experience, more our experience than our opinion, because our opinion really does not matter to you. That's the thing, and that's what we're trying to say here is like, what we believe, if that's the total opposite of what you believe, that's okay. And you're entitled to your own opinion just as we are. And I don't expect anybody to watch this and be like, you're an idiot, we're not friends anymore, because I think our friends are respectful.
And we're not medical professionals.
We are not medical professionals. Do your own research. We don't have TV. We don't watch the news. Very seldom go on our phones and look at news articles. Like we don't pull up the news on YouTube. We don't do anything unless it's like big stuff. It's like, oh, I heard about this. I'm going to go look it up. And we'll intentionally look it up. Or sometimes like we have Google phones, so sometimes like headlines will pop up or whatever of suggested articles. If it catches my eye, I'll read it. I am very careful about the source of the article.
We go to very, very unbiased.
We go to very unbiased sites and try to, or we'll try and read. I learned this from high school, doing essays, that you go and find either the unbiased people or you intentionally look for both sides. Like you look for the biased opinion, but on both sides. So that you can understand both sides and then come to that conclusion for yourself. My teacher, Amanda Chase, if you're watching this, hey, she taught me to do that. As long as you are doing your research on every aspect and then deciding for yourself. Because a lot of people will say, well, I really like this news channel. I really like this preacher. I really like this doctor. That's fine. But you shouldn't just fully rely on their opinion. Just the same as you should challenge your pastor. You should challenge your leadership. You should challenge the pastors you watch online. You shouldn't fully just watch that person. And you should also just read the Bible. You know, that goes for literally any subject on anything. A car. You're not going to just trust the opinion of one person and then go get that car. You know, you're not going to just trust the salesman at the dealership. You're probably going to go look it up on Blue Book. You're going to go ask people around if they have that vehicle. What do you think about it? You know, and so just do your own research and come to your own conclusions. That's why we were on a different page when this all started happening. I was on completely opposite end of the spectrum that he was. And we ended up being generally around the same area. We still have different beliefs from each other. And that's okay. Like, it's okay that we have little things that we disagree. We're each our own person. As much as we are one in our marriage, I am me and he is him. And I have my opinions just like he has his. And it's because we did our own research and came to our own conclusions. So we encourage you, go look it up. Go read articles. Find all the sides of the opinions and come to your own conclusion. Don't do what your dad says. Don't do what your mom says. Don't do what your husband says. Not telling you to be defiant, but at the same time, like, believe what you believe with passion. That goes for anything. Goes for God. Don't believe that because someone else does. You know, it has to be your own experiences that bring you to this conclusion. If this sparked you to do research, we're glad. Otherwise, if it was just interesting to hear our opinion, thank you for watching. I'm sure there's something we said that's going to make somebody upset, or maybe somebody's going to go, well, I don't think that's right. And that's fine. You know, again, you're entitled to your own opinion just as we are. And I'm not saying we're right either. We are not saying that we are right.
No, we're not.
Because, again, the two of us even have our own opinions about this situation.
Which is good, though. You need to have varying opinions because, like, if you're one person, if you're listening to one person, that person has had their own experiences that have defined and developed their opinions, and just their own path in life that have, you know, I mean, like, it's different. I feel like the presence of God, like, being honest, the presence of God, who God is pretty universal in the sense that of just how He speaks, how God is, but people unfortunately develop their own opinions and create their own ideas that are separate from God. I mean, I think that's what gives the church a bad name sometimes, and what gives Christians a bad name is they're not really following God. They're following God like with a hint of God and a lot of their opinions and the way they were raised, or their leaders and mentors. Not that mentors are not a bad thing, but I think that the more varying people you have in your life, the more mentors and the more people you have around you, the better. Because you're not just from one person's opinion. You can't just stay in one source in one area because you're just confined to that opinion in that way. But anyway,
Daisy's snoring. So
Yeah, Daisy's snoring back there.
Be looking out for more update videos. This didn't end up being at all what we were
No,
going to talk
it
about,
wasn't.
but hopefully it was encouraging or at least interesting to you. Be looking out for more update videos because we do have a list of things that we're going to be touching on.
Yes.
So just keep your eye out. We post every Friday. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.